surprised because sexual vice pervades his pedigree. Because pedigree is no guarantee to success. All of us up in here have pedigree. We have lineage and posterity behind us. There were generations before us, and whether we want to confess it or not, we are an amalgam of all those personalities that have preceded us in this thing called life. Everybody's family got some skeletons in them. I mean, I don't care how popular you are in Fultondale or Birmingham or Jefferson County. I don't care how well known your family is in Alabama, from Huntsville down to Mobile. Can I tell you that I got skeletons? You got skeletons. All God's children got. Even Jesus had some skeletons. Because here we talk about Jesus' family. I mean, the other Tamar dressed as a prostitute and had sex with her father-in-law. Rahab was the hoe from Jericho. Ruth was a Moabite. David was a murderer. Solomon was a polygamist. All of us got some skeletons in the closet. But when you need healing, peace, joy, hope, it does not come from your pedigree. It comes from the hand of God. Do I have a witness here? Pedigree will get you to the door, but pedigree will never keep you in the room. Okay, let me illustrate. I'm losing this whole section right here. They don't even know what I'm talking about. So let me illustrate. I love CNN. That's my favorite channel when I'm home. I ain't watching a whole bunch of trash. I want to be educated by facts rather than entertained by fiction. And so I watch a whole lot of CNN. And I remember when the presidential running started and those Republicans were on stage, there were 17 Republican candidates, 16 men and 1 woman. And the best they could find was Donald J. Trump. This bigot who's running, now I don't mean to offend any Republicans I have in here, but even you must admit that he ain't really what the Republican Party thought they were getting. But so this bigot Donald Trump, who's running on the slogan, let's make America great again. What do you mean, make America great again? America is not great when we know names like Trayvon Martin and Sandra Bland and Sean Bell, Eric Garner, Rakia Boyd, Tanisha Anderson, Tamar Rice, Mike Walter Scott, Freddie Gray, Philandro Castile. America will never be great until justice runs down like water and righteousness like a mighty stream. Do I have a witness here?
Yes. Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
That ain't my sermon. That's another point for another day. On the stage was 17 candidates, 16 men, and 1 woman. And on that stage was a gentleman by the name of Jeb Bush. And Jeb Bush believed that he should have been the president, largely in part due to his pedigree. I knew y'all were listening. I mean, his daddy was the president, his brother was the president, and neither one of them was worth a doggone dime. It was his father who nominated Clarence Thomas to fill the seat of Thurgood Marshall. Are you crazy? That's a slap in black folks' face. It was his brother who told us there were weapons of mass destruction, and we're still trying to pay the bill, the tax, and the tip for that doggone mistake. And Bush finds himself lagging behind because the United States of America was not concerned about the Bush pedigree. They decided they weren't going to push him, and he started drawing on his pedigree, brought his mama out, brought his daddy out, because pedigree does not mean success. You will find the folks that rely on their pedigree, they have a sense of entitlement. They have this great inflated ego. They think too highly of themselves. But the Bible says, humble yourself before the Lord turns around and humbles you. Do I have a witness in here? And so I'm not have this ego. I mean, you got to have an ego to bring your sister in, rape her, throw her out, and think you're going to get away with it. Throws her out, locks the door behind her. Have a huge ego. We owe a tremendous amount of debt to Sigmund Freud, who in his psychoanalytical theory has given us understanding about this thing called ego. He says there are three components to every personality. He says, firstly, there's the id, that which is base in me, that which is carnal in me. And he says the antithesis to that is the superego, that which is good in me, that which is godly in me. It is the moral and ethical compass that produces my behavior. Now, because there is good my ego, my conscious personality. But long before there was a Sigmund Freud, there was a gentleman by the name of the Apostle Paul who didn't know anything about psychoanalytical, theoretical mumbo-jumbo, but he knew something about the human personality. And he said that on some days there's good in me, and some days there's evil in me, and the two are always in test. Do I have a witness here? There are days when I want to do what's right, but there are days when I want to do what's wrong. But you got to keep your ego in check. I'll never forget when I was growing up, my mama, I don't know if you were raised in a house like I was raised, but my mama would chastise me when I would do things wrong. She would tell me, I brought you into this world and I'll take you out of this. Anyone ever heard that before? I mean, she would tell me that the only person she'll do life in prison for is me. And so, she wasn't trying to kill me, she wasn't trying to hurt me, but what she was trying to do is let me know that I'm living in her house, wearing clothes that she bought, shoes on my feet that she bought, and she's the only adult in the house. And what she was doing is making sure my ego was kept in check.
All right now.
You gotta keep your ego in check. And so Dave's talking about pedigree. David doesn't say a word. We are not told that he held his son accountable. We're not told that he comforted Tamar. Now, you know what gets me? A lot of the men that we see today are under-fathered and over-mothered. I mean, mama cooked all his life. Mama did his groceries all his life. Mama paid his phone bill all. Mama, you gotta stop babying your son, because the reason why a whole lot of ladies can't find good men in the church is because you got boys in men's body, and they want their woman to do what their mama did. The devil is a liar. Now I see some of y'all mothers clapping your hands and shouting, but some of y'all were part of the problem, because when the father was trying to discipline the child, you got in the way of the father trying to protect. Let that father discipline his child. Do I have a witness here? Pedigree doesn't guarantee success. Like Amnon, you can have pedigree, but still have proclivity. Like Tamar, you can have pedigree, but still carry pain. Pedigree was not a viable route to emotional healing here. If you want healing, it's not in pedigree, it's not in your accoutrements. Healing is found in Jesus Christ. Can anyone testify in here today that he healed my marriage, healed my grades, healed my mind, healed my anger? Jehovah Rapha, God is my healer. And if you can't shout on that, you better learn how to shout in advance, because there's coming a day when someone or something is going to do something to you, and you're going to lift your eyes up to the hill and say, God, I need your healing. Gonna break up with what broke you. Firstly, you gotta resist self-blame. Secondly, you gotta recognize that pedigree does not mean success. But thirdly and finally, you gotta refuse to be unproductive. Check your neighbor and say, neighbor, if you're gonna break up, with what broke you, refuse to be unproductive. Okay, here it is. I'm forgiven. Verse 13. The question, the interrogative. Where can I carry my shame? At the end of verse 20, here comes the response. Because obviously there's no place for her to carry it. End of verse 20 says she remained desolate, unproductive. The end of verse 20 is one of the saddest verses in the entire Bible. She remained desolate, unproductive, because nobody wants what has been violated. Can I tell you, Living Stones, considering the gifts and the graces God put in you, it's a sin for you to live unproductive. It's a sin. Brokenness may be your narrative, but wholeness is still your option. Wish I had a witness here. And so that means never rewrite your theology in order to accommodate your tragedy. Okay, y'all, are y'all hear what I'm saying here?
Yeah.
That's tweetable. That's Facebook time right there. Never rewrite your theology to accommodate your tragedy, because tragedy says I'm all alone, but theology says I will never leave you, nor shall I forsake you. Tragedy says my father didn't support me, my mother didn't support me, but theology says when my mother and father forsake me, the Lord will raise me up. Tragedy says I can't break up with what is behind me, but theology says forgetting those things which are behind me, I press toward the mark for the prize of the high calling. Do I have a witness here?
Yes, Lord. Yes. Yes.
You're going to learn how to be productive. You're going to press and push toward productivity. It's easy to be productive when a path has been laid out for you. When you grew up in Vestavia Hills, when you grew up in Hoover, Alabama, it's easy to be productive when you had a silver spoon in your mouth. But I believe that most of us up in here didn't grow up in 5 and 6 and 7 bedroom houses. Most of us up in here had to learn how to be productive against the backdrop of life's negativity. And even if you did grow up privileged, the very fact that you have a different skin color to the hue of the nation means you have to push past some barriers to be productive in your life. Do I have a witness here?
Yes.
Most of us have to face the fight of having to be productive against the backdrop of life's negativity. Can you be productive when the odds are stacked against you? Can you be productive when things don't go your way? Can you be productive despite the plethora of problems that you face in your life? I was flying the other day. I was sat at the front of the plane, and I have this thing every time I fly somewhere. I'm always sat next to some big, burly, busty guy who doesn't smell good, who's always talking, who's always coughing, who's always sneezing. And I tell you, I just hate flying sometimes. I'm always, without fail, I'm sat next to some big, burly, busty guy. And so one day I'm sat on the plane in the window seat, and I see this beautiful African-American lady walk on the plane. And I tell you, Livingstone, I went into intercessory prayer. I said, if there be a God, Lord, would you let her sit next to me finally? Well, on that day, the Lord did not hear my humble cry, and the Lord certainly did not answer by and by. Now, she didn't sit next to me, but what she did do was sit behind me. And as she started talking, I really wanted to go to the guy she was sat next to and say, please, sir, this is my colleague. We're flying together. Do you mind if we switch seats here? But you know, the Bible says you should tell the truth at all times, so I thought against it. But she started talking, and as she started talking, her beauty was diminished by her obvious lack of intelligence. You don't want somebody who looks good but ain't got no sense. Do I have a witness here? Good looks don't pay no bills. Do I have a witness? Good looks don't raise no kids. And so she started talking, and I mean, she just really diminished herself in my eyes, because at first she was talking about President Obama, how great he was, how wonderful he was, and that was all cool. But then she started talking about Congressman John Lewis. And but John Lewis is a short man. Big lips, big nose. And I sat there and I said, hold on a second. I've got big lips. And I've got big nose. And I'm proud of my big lips. Come on, y'all should be proud of yours too. And I'm proud. Do I have a witness here? And so I turned around and I said, I'm sorry, ma'am, I just can't let you talk about Congressman John Lewis in that way. I pastor in Selma, Alabama, and I want to know, where were you when John Lewis was fighting on Edmund Pettus Bridge? Where were you when John Lewis was marching in Birmingham, Alabama? Where were you when he was fighting in Montgomery? Where were you? He was being productive despite the problems. And all I'm trying to teach you today is that you've got to learn how to be productive despite the plethora of problems you face. So dry your tears, put a song on your heart, put a pep in your step, and realize that we serve a Savior who was abused, mistreated, despised, rejected of men, a man of sorrows, well acquainted with our grief. And when Jesus and the cross met, the cross took advantage of him, not because the cross was stronger, but because he laid down his life and he hung there on the old rugged cross, naked and ashamed, and they let him die on the old rugged cross. And he was dead all night Friday, he was dead all day Saturday, but early Sunday morning there was a new outcome. And if God can raise Jesus up, he can pick you up, he can turn you around, he can place your feet on solid ground. If you know God can pick you up, you want to stand on your feet right now, and your testimony ought be this: shackled by a heavy burden, neath a load of guilt and shame, but the hand of Jesus touched me, and now I am no longer the same. Come on, shake your neighbor by the hand for the first and the last time and say, neighbor, oh neighbor, neighbor, oh neighbor, he touched me, and oh what joy shall fill my soul. Something happened, and now I know he touched me and made me whole. Come on, open your mouth and give God a shout of praise that he touched you. He touched you over here. He touched y'all over here. He touched you over here. He touched you over here. He touched you over here. Thank God he's in the touching business. When I needed shelter, when I need a friend, I go to the rock